Welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to continue my No Dust No Worries Hearthstone laddering experiment. Continuing with our fresh rogue account, which is, as you can see, level 9, and hopefully we'll grab some extra cards. We'll be picking up Sprint at level 10, so after this game shouldn't be a problem, and we will be picking up a pack, so a couple of useful things coming our way. We might even be able to make some deck alterations whilst after the first game, which I'm quite looking forward to. So just to reiterate on the concept of this series, I want to experience the game as a beginner player might do, who doesn't have any dust, doesn't have any gold to buy packs and whatnot. So I'm limiting myself to class cards, classic cards, and common cards. Sorry, class cards, classic cards that are in the the minion side of things, common cards and rare cards. So I can craft those, but I'm not going to include any epics, legendaries, or adventure-based cards in my decks, because I do believe, well, it takes a little bit of work to get those. The Golden Cruel Taskmaster. Interesting. Now I need to wait to see what I draw this turn. Should I spend 4 health to kill it? Should I spend 4 health? Is health going to be an issue in this matchup? Maybe. Especially if he's running a Cruel Task. It indicates to me that there may be a Grommash in the deck, and that really becomes an issue once you reach turn 10. So I think that based on that line of thought, I will spend the backstab. Now I didn't swing there for a couple of reasons. One, warriors have Battle Rage, which draws cards based on the number of injured minions on the board, and includes their hero. So sometimes, if it doesn't matter, you might want to refrain from taking the warrior below white health, as in 30 health. Okay, I think I'll use another backstab again, just to establish some board position. It would have been great to have something to play the cleric on, but it's not to be. But it's better than re-weaponing up. It's always better to play something. As I've said before, it's always better to make the slower play if possible. Re-weaponing up would be a faster play, but you get less value and utility out of it, because I could only swing once a turn, but the cleric potentially adds 3 damage every turn. Okay, we're going to draw our card, and quite luckily draw into a commando. And again, I'm not swinging with my final dagger charge because I'm not going to have a chance to weapon up next turn. I fully expect to be playing the commando and trading in to whatever he plays. And I think should I keep the commando for flex, for like a flex, so I can be more flexible in future turns, or should I weapon up and deadly poison? I think I'll still play the commando, even though I'm not. The 2 damage is essentially quote-unquote wasted, because it's much better to apply removal effects on cards to minions. Usually it's much better to apply removal effects, but since he played quite slowly, I think it was correct to pressure there. Yes, we will develop our ogre whilst clearing sludge. Now, whichever of these minions I send in will be vulnerable to execute, if he so chooses, or vulnerable to a second Cruel Task. Is it important to get that extra point of damage into his face? Because the Gnomish is actually quite strong if he plays a 2-drop. Gnomish plus my weapon usually means the Gnomish will survive. It can challenge any 3/2s, it can challenge 2 3s also with the rogue weapon. So I'd like to keep this on board. Just it represents a little bit more board control, a little bit harder for him to deal with as well. Oh, Unstable Ghoul, one of my favorite cards. If you've been following my series on bringing back Patron Priest to the ranked ladder, you'll see that I really like Unstable Ghoul as a card that enables you to be. It really helps you to. It helps you by putting up a wall against early pressure, and a lot of slower decks have issues dealing with early pressure. So I think that I will proc the Ghoul, and since that will cause the Berserker to go down to 2 health, we have an easy trade with the Gnomish Inventor, and we're sitting pretty strong here. He spent quite a few cards last turn. That was 3 cards, and essentially I lost what, half a Deadly Dagger charge and an Inventor and a Shattered Sun Cleric that was already 1 health. So we came up pretty good in that. There we go. Sees that Battle Rage card as I was talking about. If you think that the warrior might be playing a deck that has that, at the start of the game, just reiterating, it might be worthwhile leaving him at 30 health. Doing 1 damage to a warrior often doesn't make a difference at the very start of the game. Okay, and it's perfect for me to just swing again, since I will lose whatever I play into the Cobra. Since the Cobra, I'll mouse over it to show you. Did I miss? No, I didn't miss lethal. The Cobra, you can't see it here, has the effect of destroying any minion that gets damaged by it, which means Cobra is weak to things like Divine Shield, but very strong against just big minions. Okay, we're done. So we will pop in, we will grab our Sprint, and we will level up. So let's open the pack and see how we go, and see if we can apply any. I definitely want to be putting 1 Sprint into the deck, but let's see what sort of things we dig up in this pack. Not super exciting. The Blood Sail, I think, can go into the deck because as a rogue you often have a weapon, and gaining 1 attack, you're paying 2 mana for 3/3 most times, and it's quite flexible. And if you have something stronger, the Raider can actually present quite a threat in finishing the game if you can protect the Raider. Okay, so I'm just going to clear off these new cards and open up our deck. So I think that Raider, I can get rid of a Raptor for a Raider, and Sprint is definitely, I'm definitely putting 1 Sprint into the deck. I'm quite doubtful about 2 Sprints. I think 2 Sprints can be overkill unless you're running something like Preparation, which is a which is an epic card which we're not going to get our hands on. But 2 Sprints, I think it's basically mandatory to have a Preparation or some sort of other spell cost reduction, such as a Torison, but even that is a little too slow. So I will be putting in 1 Sprint. The question is, what do I take out for the Sprint? So we're pretty big on our 3s, but I think I'll swap out a Stormwind Champion, because even though this is a spell and that's a minion, I believe they serve pretty similar purposes. Okay, so let us get ready to queue back into the ladder and see how we go with our new deck. Okay, so I've updated our win tracker and updated the deck list on the right, as you can probably see. Okay, a warrior again. So it might be useful to see if our changed cards affect the game at all this time around. I really would be nice to see that. One thing that I didn't quite come into mind when I was adding the sprint to the deck is that sprint is a strong source of draw, so I might have wanted to possibly take out another source of draw. If you sometimes don't want too much card draw in your deck, but usually with Rogue it's not an issue. Now the question is, do we want to develop the second Doctor or weapon up? And let's see, if I develop the second Doctor, I can Shattered Sun, and then turn 4, ideally I can weapon up and play a 2-drop. That's my hope, but I think really based on having the Assassin's Blade in my hand, I might even just not weapon up this game until turn 5. Sort of, you know, spend the mana doing something else. That could be viable, you know. It'd be nice not to have to do that, but okay. Shattered Sun. Yeah, I will Shattered Sun. I don't think I will clear the board. Actually, I can go for the greedy play and send this into the ball, but it makes me ridiculously weak to Whirlwind, and the beginner warrior probably does have Whirlwind, so I don't think I'll make the greedy play. I think I will play around Whirlwind, because I get punished really hard by Whirlwind, because he could also send the ball into my Shattered Sun next turn and do a full board clear with Whirlwind. On another note though, we have a strong turn 4 with Weapon, Bloodsail Raider. So yes, I'm quite happy that our deck changes are coming into, are making a difference. And I definitely think I will Weapon Bloodsail. And definitely, since warriors have so many ways of dealing 1 damage, such as this, and Whirlwind and Inner Rage and things like that, I will use my 2-1 for board control. And since I have a Assassin's Blade in hand, I will apply the Wicked Knife damage. Even though, you know, I probably will be playing the Warlord next turn, but given that I don't really have anything bigger than the Warlord, anything straight, say a 6-drop to follow up on the Warlord, I probably will be Assassin's Blading up the turn after. Yeah, and that's perfect. I can Warlord this turn, and Assassin's Blade Deadly Poison next turn. And this is one of the most potent combos that a Rogue, interesting, that a Rogue has. Assassin's Blade Deadly Poison, because Deadly Poison adds 2 for each charge, 2 damage for each charge of your weapon, so that's 8 extra damage for 1 mana. The main issue with Assassin's Blade is that it takes so many turns to use all the charges, and that's sort of why I'm not generally a fan of the card. Because, you know, if you equip at turn 5, and that's sort of optimistic, because there are a lot of strong 5-drops that you might want to play as Rogue or whatever class. There's just strong 5-drops like Sludge Belcher, Pit Fighter now. Even if you equip the Blade on turn 5, you need to be swinging every turn until turn 9. And that's interesting. I think I will play Ogre actually instead of Blade, because as I said before, I like to make the slower play. The Ogre, and since we didn't have anything really to deal with on the board, he hasn't developed any minions that we have to deal with. I like to save quicker plays so that I can deal with whatever comes out of his hand. And usually that's a good path to clearing. That's a good methodology to make sure that you stay ahead on the board and that you maintain. You have the minions on the board, and you have the option of going face if need be. Okay, and I think it's pretty. It's not actually that simple. I could keep my Ogre alive, or I could Shattered Sun to make to make for us quite a straightforward trade. I think I will do that, especially since it leaves with 7/2, so it's immune to 1 damage effects, which warriors have tons of. But they don't often have 2 damage effects. Either it's a weapon, which is quite expensive for him, you know, running his face into a 7 is basically, you know, you're fireballing yourself plus a little bit extra. If you use a weapon to clear something like this, or cleave. I didn't consider cleave, and that was quite a lucky cleave. You know, he did pretty well there. Okay. I think I definitely might have, my opponent's play, I think I might have done a heroic strike first on one of the smaller minions, so that I could ensure that the cleave has a higher chance of hitting the big scary 7-2. I think it would have been I think he would have increased his chances of cleaving the 7-2. Yeah, just by clearing something with a heroic strike first. So it's really it's something to keep in mind when you're running things such as cleave or deadly shot in Hunter that are sort of like, and even flame cannon in Mage. You know, it doesn't hurt to improve your odds. You know, you might not be able to get 100% odds if you're playing from behind, but it never hurts to improve your odds. Okay, and I think we're almost at rank 20, which would be great. Okay, so I'll record the win. Here we are. And I think we will wrap it up here for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Alright, see you next time.